No movie this episode here at South Sonoma Movie Reviews. What Mike's got for you today, it's story time. Gonna regale you with a night at the movies. In my history, in my origin stories, I worked at various theaters for about a decade. So I've seen some weird things. The most bizarre was the week in January where Notorious, Paul Blart, Mall Cop, Hotel for Dogs, and Taken all came out. I think Hannah Montana concert movie also came out that day. And it was our busiest weekend in ever. Like, it was set the record for the most attendees we've ever had at the theater I worked at. And in many theaters across the country, it was just a hellfire of Hollywood dumped all these movies out thinking they were not strong enough to do well in the summer, and there was so much hype and so much people just wanted to see them. We were just slammed. I think we did 10,000 people in one day. It was crazy. For the area I lived in, it was crazy. Not big metropolitan areas, it was a smaller city. But the opening weekend, we because of feared gang violence, Notorious had to end by 8. All showings had to start and end by 8 o'clock because they were afraid of gang violence. So we had police everywhere. We had kids everywhere because of the family Hotel for Dogs, and some kids were going to Paul Blart, and then the Hannah Montana. Taken was just overflowing with people wanting to see Liam Neeson in this role. It was just craziness. And cleaning theaters, that's what I was doing to start the night. Notorious, every showing sold out. Everything, like 400 people theater, like 4 or 5 400-seat theaters packed, overflowing. The first theater I cleaned, I found the giant popcorn bucket full of urine. Urine. Now you're sitting in these seats, you are shoulder to shoulder with someone. And this bucket was in the middle of the frickin' theater. Prime seats, if you're picking seats. That's where this person was sitting. And they urinated in this bucket. I think everyone urinated in this bucket. There was so much urine in it. That was just the start of the evening. And then I had to go check tickets after that. So I'm standing outside the theater checking tickets. And this kid, had to have been 15, 16. Couldn't let him into Notorious. Couldn't let him into Taken. They were rated R. Strict rules there. Plus there's cops everywhere. I wasn't going to break him. He's got the switchblade. And he's just... a knife. I don't even know if it was a switchblade. It was just a knife. He kept flinging it open, closing it. And he looks at me and he goes, "I'm getting in that theater." I was like, "You don't have a ticket. Sorry." Flips the knife out and starts approaching me. I just thought he was bluffing. I was kind of like a little nervous. I'm not trying to sound macho. I was just like, this kid's got a knife. I was just taking it all in and processing it. And out of nowhere, the fattest cop on the force tackles this kid into the wall and breaks the wall. Uncalled for, but hilarious. So the night goes on. I worked 13 hours plus this day. I was there open to well past close. Because at the end of the night we had to move all the film around and put them in the theaters because we were so slammed and we had ill-fated planning and we had all these adjustments. But, so we're going back to cleaning theaters. All of a sudden, this woman, this was scary, this was serious, it shouldn't be funny. This woman comes running out of the theater. She's upset, she's crying, she kind of has, her hair's all disheveled, she's screaming for help. And we're sitting there with our broom and butlers, just like, "I don't know what to do." And then this big dude, he was huge, comes out and he's just screaming at her. And he's like, his paw grabs the back of her head and pulls her hair. And he just wails on her. And we're just like in shock because we don't know what to do. We're theater employees. We're not ruffians. What are we going to do? Hit them with our freaking aluminum broomsticks that break if you look at them wrong? So, and then all of a sudden we just hear, "Taser, taser, taser." I've never heard this yelled before. I know what a taser is. And then you just hear this loud clicking noise out of nowhere. If you've never heard a taser, they're loud. And the dude just starts shaking and is on the ground. Like, at the time, I think I made $10 an hour to watch this. I don't know what to do. And the night's not even over. The last two Notorious movies are letting out. It's right around 8 o'clock. This is in a mall. We're on the 3rd floor of a mall. Food court is below us. So these 2 movies let out. The cops have it siphoned off, so they have to go to different escalators, different elevators. They can't go near each other. They're so afraid. But they're not down in the food court where the escalators and elevators all commingle. And sure as shit, all of a sudden, you hear this rustling and chairs falling. Now you could we had like spots where you could run over and look down in the food court. There's a massive brawl. People are just hitting each other, beating each other. Trash cans are flying. Those plastic trays you see in the food court, I saw 3 get broke over people's heads. Someone ended up in the freaking I don't even know, one of those, the Asian food court. It's a staple in most malls. It's like the Asian food one where they have the lady with the bourbon chicken on a stick. Someone's in there getting hit with like cups. It felt like a National Lampoon's meets WWE event. Just, what am I witnessing? And the night's not over. I still have like hours of my shift left. So we're cleaning theaters, you do at the end of the night. We go to Hannah, Montana, of all theaters, and we find oversized women's leopard print underwear strewn on the floor, and a cucumber with a condom on it. Hannah, Montana. What happened in this movie where this was needed? And the night's not over. So hours go by. We move all the films around. I almost dropped one because we're just talking about this shenanigan fest that was the night. And we have to get escorted to our cars at the end because it's 4 in the morning, almost. So they're like, we're just going to escort you. You're the only cars in the parking lot. We're going to escort you guys out there just to be safe. Sure as shit, there was something going on in the parking lot at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Just one of the people was still there almost 7 hours later from leaving his movie, peeing on cars. So the cops who are with us are like, you guys okay? We got to go handle this. No, we're not okay. We're afraid of getting peed on by this guy. Just go. I want to see what happens. Go. So the cops starts, hey, and freeze, and runs off after this guy. The guy starts running, but he doesn't buckle his pants. So they fall down, and he's running with his bare ass and genitals hanging out, trying to get away from the cops. And they tackle him, face first, onto the asphalt. This dude's screaming about the scrape and road rash that he's getting on his front piece. Like, you wouldn't believe. The sounds are etched in my brain of this grown man screaming about the scrapes on his junk. It was just what happened this night. And we gotta go back and do it again the next night. I had to be there in 5 hours. I couldn't sleep. I should have just stayed there. It was just insanity. For more stories from my time at the theater, subscribe, follow along. Let me know if you had some crazy theater stories. I'll see if I can beat them. We'll see who's got more. You guys are awesome. Peace.